Cheers, everybody. We are back for another edition of Bourbon on a Budget. It's review time again. As we told you guys on Tuesday, we are reviewing Old Forester 100 Rye. 100. Keeping it 100 is how the kids say these days. Old Forester 100 Rye. Brendan, talk to us about it.
Oh, you want to set me up, the guy who can't smell particularly well. Oh, no, we're not.
Give us the specs, Brendan.
Here. COVID brain.
I would say you took a week off, but you were literally here last week.
I don't remember any of that. All right, so Old Forester 100 Rye is from, spoiler, the Old Forester Distillery. It is a straight rye. It's believed to be at least 4 years old, proofed at, it's be another spoiler and a shocker, 100, hence Ooh. Old Forester 100. The mash bill, so this is going to be interesting, is 65% rye. So some, we've seen a lot of like the MGP juice and stuff is really high rye. Some others go 51% rye, low rye. This is right in kind of in between, 65% rye, 20% malted barley. So that's the second most dominant grain. And then 15% corn. 15. 65, 20, 15. And the MSRP is going to be about 23. I think I got mine $23.99 or something like that at ABC.
Not a bad price for a 100 proof product. We really, really liked the Old Forester 100 bourbon that we reviewed. Was one of the highest rated things that we have ever done before we started bringing into ryes and things of that nature. I believe as a composite, the Old Forester 100 was a 7.4. Ben was cheap, gave it a 7. I gave it 7.5. Brendan a 7.75. So still up there living on the big board. Wonder if this will crack the big board. I don't know because we haven't done the review yet. Ben, talk to us about the nose on Old Forester 100 proof rye.
I am liking it. I like it a lot. Little bit of mint, little bit of banana, like your typical Old Forester, right? Yeah. I also get a little bit of like orangey citrus notes too.
Yep.
So very pleasant. But also, like you were saying, with it being, not super high rye, like not overly peppery, not over, like spice notes, but a lot of like mint and citrus. So I like it.
Minty banana is, I'm going to call it a minty banana in a glass.
That's illegal in 23 states. Be careful.
No, I think it has a really full nose. Like we talked about this, the difference between, some of the Old Forester and some of the Wild Turkey similar products that have similar price points and similar proofs. The Old Forester stuff is just so full, right? Like I don't know how else to describe that, but it's just not like a faint nose. It's in a good way. I think this word has a negative connotation, but it's heavy in a way. It's very full. It's a thick nose. And so, man, it's really, really enjoyable. I definitely pick up the mint. The Old Forester banana is prevalent there. So I get those kind of separate but distinct things, but they work together well. It's not like I said, I mean, I said it in jest, a banana mint, which would be disgusting, but they work together well. You get some of the sweetness, some of the spice from the mint. It is really, really good. So, COVID boy.
We're testing out the nose here.
Testing out the old nose.
I did a test run yesterday and was able, like on a Henry McKenna 10. I was like, okay, I got vanilla, I got oak. We're in business. Like that's enough, right? That's the core essentials. I definitely get the zesty citrus note that Ben was referring to. I'm not getting banana, but again, COVID. I am definitely getting a lot of vanilla. So that's the sweetness I'm getting. Like I'm totally with you guys. It's spicy and sweet, a little peppery there, but the mint, but vanilla. Are you guys getting vanilla, or is it my brain and nose playing tricks on me here? Because I'm getting
I definitely
a lot
get
of
that.
vanilla.
It's kind of surprising with how little, like, I know the vanilla comes from the oak, but like the nose is very sweet to me, which, like I said, it's surprising with how little corn is there. So I wonder if like the malt in the malted barley is kind of like rounding over the rye a bit. I don't know.
It is a beautiful balance of spicy and sweet, like perfect. Like it's equal parts spicy and sweet on the nose. It's very nice and not too overly, like sometimes rye can slap me in the face a little bit. This is there, it's present, but it wants to be your friend, which is nice.
Yeah.
I also, in looking at this, no, I thought it said it on it. I wonder if they use like a level 4 char, which I don't know if that's something that we can find quickly while I'm rambling here.
I'm looking.
But when you compare an Old Forester 100, rye or bourbon to a Wild Turkey 101 rye or bourbon, I think you notice that they are much darker in color. Like if you just put the bottles up next to each other, and I wonder if that comes from a darker level of char or maybe a longer age. So just kind of maybe an observation there. I obviously don't know. We weren't able to find it quickly in searching, but I do think that my guess there as to why we're getting some of that vanilla is longer in the barrel, or maybe a little bit heavier of a char that kind of gets some of that sweetness to come out. I also do like the barley. Sorry, that is a little bit higher than normal. So
real
all
quick,
kind of
TJ,
interesting things we're pulling up.
Does I can't find specifically on the 100 rye, but I think Old Forester typically uses a char level of 4, so on the higher end of it.
Yeah, no. So I think that could have something to do. Also, probably why we think that this nose is so thick and full and in a good way, again, heavy. We've raved about this nose a ton. Let's taste the thing because I'm hoping that's as enjoyable as this nose has been. Ben, you're up first again.
Oh, really? Thank you. Yeah, like I would say it drinks heavier than your typical $20 to $25 bottle. It definitely has the Old Forester characteristics. The dark, heavier notes are there. I know I've said heavier twice, but that's just it's just true to it. Like, but that citrus and mint are both there still through the palate. Overall pleasant, not bitter like a lot of other bourbons or ryes at this price point kind of, taste a little bit. So I like this. I like it.
I hate to say the same thing that I said about the nose on the taste, but again, very full. It drinks heavier than just that 100 proof, but not in a bad way, not in a more harsh way. Like the proof is just overbearing. But again, I think it probably has to do with that char level, the age that it's been in the barrel. It is so consistent to bring that mint nose over into the taste that we're getting. The sweetness is definitely there. It's not an overpowering rye spice. It's not the most spicy thing you've ever tasted, but it's very, another word that we're going to get to in a minute. It's very cohesive and balanced with the sweetness and the spice. It's not the absolute thickest thing we tasted. Obviously, we had the light whiskey. Pause on that. We had the light whiskey last week, which had the very heavy viscosity and mouthfeel. This doesn't drink like so heavy, but it's thick enough to let you know that it's there, and so it's good for sure. Pause again. Brendan, take this away before I get us canceled.
Guys, this is so thick and juicy and tender. Balanced is the word I would use because Ben said heavy.
I use that.
Well, I'm using it too. I'm using balance because it is. It is heavy. It's got a little bit of smokiness to it, but that char level does come through. I get the banana. I get vanilla. I get mint. I get a little pepperiness, a little bit of peanut butter with the rye in my brain there. But it's delicate at the same time. It's a crisp refreshingness to it, right? So it's very full, very balanced, pretty. This is really good. This is a great foray, back into whiskey for me.
Finish. Brendan, stay with it. You go finish on this one.
It's a nice finish. I get a lot of the peppery notes that you would in a rye, correct? Like, and that's been present through all of this, but not overpowering to me. And that peanut butter note as well. It's a good finish for me. I like it. It's pleasant. The proof shows up there as you would expect. It's still a nice balance of spicy and sweet and interesting. So to me, I like the finish. Ben, tell me why I'm wrong.
No, I actually think it gets a little. I think it gets a little peppery at the end. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably primarily through proof, and just not being like 10 years old. But I do get a little bit of spice and pepper at the end. This is to me, this would be really great in an old fashioned where you have a lot of the sweetness from your additives, and then you still retain a lot of like body and pepperiness and spiciness from the rye. And so, like I said, the finish isn't as consistent, I think, with the palate and nose. You get those spicy, peppery notes at the end, which is not a negative. It's just a different.
Really solid finish. It does kind of change up here, as you guys kind of say. Definitely goes more peppery than it does through the flavor and certainly the nose. All right, let's rate it. Let's go through, assign some scores to this thing, and see if we can make the big board. What is the last thing on the big board at 7.1 up there, Brendan?
It is Russell's Reserve, our very first one. So just hanging on barely. Yeah. And the light whiskey needs to be reviewed as well by me before it could be officially
officially added. All right. Well, maybe we'll see if we can get you some of that. If not, you'll just stay with the score of Corona. Nose, Ben, you got 2 points for this one. Let's go.
I like the nose. I do. I'm probably going to go 1.5 here. I definitely like this nose.
1.5. Same nose you gave light whiskey last week. Same nose you gave Eagle Rare the week before. Same
what did
nose
I give?
you gave
Old Forester 100 bourbon.
Old Forester 100 bourbon. I'm going to copy this to bring it down. Same score. 1.5.
Makes sense.
Brendan, nose. 2 points for you.
1.5. Very good nose. Very good.
I'll make it an even 1.5 all the way around the horn. I am anticipating and very interested to get Ben's taste out of this. On 4 out of 4.
Mostly because I don't know what I put for Old Forester 100.
I'll tell you, 2.75.
Oh, okay, good. I was debating between 2.75 and 3. And since I like Rye's better, you might as well just push us up to 3. Yeah, I think this is better than Old Forester 100. So let's go 3.
I think so as well. I'll agree with you there. 3 on that one. Brendan?
I hate to be repetitive because I was going between 2.75 and 3, but I really like the taste of this. I'm going to round it up to 3.
Now, interestingly enough, Brendan and I both gave Old Forester 100 bourbon a 3. So we're kind of staying consistent there. It didn't do enough for me to get to 3.25, but it was really good. I gave light whiskey a 3.25 last week, and so it wasn't quite there for me, but it was really good. Finish. Brendan, you start us out here.
I'm between 0.5 and 0.75. I guess since I rounded up on the previous one on taste, I'll round down here and go 0.5. It's a very nice finish. It doesn't blow me away. It doesn't change my world, but it's good. It's not a weakness of this by any means. What about you, Benethy?
Yes. Thank you, Brendanathy. I'm going to go 0.5 as well.
Oh, man, we are about as boring as it gets.
I know. Snooze fest today.
Yeah, I'm not giving it a 0.75. It's not quite that good. It's an average finish. So 0.5 for me as well. Cohesiveness and complexity. I think I'm.
Do it. You know you want to.
I'm giving the whole one.
Whole one.
Wow.
Let's go. Same here. Same here. Make it a sweep.
Yeah, it's cohesive and it does enough with the vanilla and the spice, the mint, the banana, like the Old Forester character. Like it does enough for me. So yeah, one for me, one for Brendan. Ben?
I'm departing here, 0.75.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Suck it, guys.
Yeah.
So before we get to value,
wait, explain yourself, Ben. Why 0.75? Just other than being contrarian?
Yeah, just that only.
Yeah, I do like the complexity. The complexity is great. There's a lot of stuff to dive into, but you do lose on the finish, right?
Okay.
It gets a little peppery. It changes up. So there's a lot of good on the front, not so much in the back. So 0.5.
So you're more interested in the back, like that's what kind of man you are, not the front.
Based on that answer, you could interpret that, yes.
Okay. And thickness as well.
The thickness of what's in the back. So before we get to value, we've got 8 points that we've given out so far, or 8 possible points. Brendan and I at a 6, and Ben at a 5.75. For a little perspective, going into the value on Old Forester 100 bourbon, Ben was at a 5.25, I was at a 5.5, and Brendan was at a 5.75. So we've all jumped up. Ben and I by half points each, and Brendan by a quarter of a point. So you get 2 points for value. This is a $23-ish bottle, same price as Old Forester 100. Probably a tad harder to find, but not allocated by any means. You could probably walk into a lot of stores and get this. And 100 proof. So with your 2 value points, Ben, what do you give? You gave Old Forester 100 a 1.75 for the record. So where's this going?
Yeah, if I get that 1.75, I don't know if this is a perfect 2, but I don't know, man. This seems like it feels like a perfect 2 to me. Like, explain to me that this is the same price as Old Forester 100. There's a lot of complexity. The nose palate is great. Rye is a considerably more expensive grain than corn, and barley is more expensive than corn as well. So you're getting a, quote, more expensive mash bill for a very similar price. For $22? Come on, man. This is a great bottle for that. So I feel like 2 is the answer. Let's go 2. Perfect. Balloons exploding, Woo! 2. Perfection.
This is
Yeah,
Ben's
that's it.
first ever 2 for value.
I know. This is a $22 bottle. That's sippable. Give me another one that's like that.
The only other 2 for value Ben has given, well, all right. Troll Ben gave Russell's Reserve 10-year a 2.5.
That is, that was, that's
then
really
Wild Turkey 101 a 2, which we would,
Yeah.
I mean, is a great value.
Yeah, I think this is 2. I think 2 is the right answer.
Yeah, I can't argue. 2 points for this one. I don't know how you would kind of give it anything else based on our metrics, based on what we have done in the past. I mean,
Yeah.
2 for me.
TJ, I see that you put down a 2 for value on the spreadsheet already for me. And how dare you assume that I was going to go with a 2 like you two? I don't follow.
Yeah.
I'm not a follower. But however, I'm going to have to give it a perfect 2 for value because it is a damn great whiskey at a great price. I did hear real quick that this might start becoming a little bit more difficult to find because I think Old Forester's trying to get into the barrel-proof rye game. So some of the so they maybe start storing some of this and proofing it up and whatnot. So it may make it a little bit more difficult. But right now, I can go to my ABC, find it for $23-24. As Ben said, this is also like really versatile. Like you can mix it. But you can certainly drink it neat as well. Probably drinks like a $35-40 bourbon, or excuse me, whiskey, rye. So yeah, 2 for me.
So a lot of things that it's better than than we reviewed, right? It's a little bit more expensive, but it's definitely better than the Old Tub, which is a similar price point and the same proof. It's definitely better than the Woodinville rye that we reviewed. It's pretty on par with the Sazerac rye, which we knocked a little bit for availability. So it's kind of like in that ballpark.
And that's $35.
Correct.
MSRP.
Yep.
So
it's better than a lot of things that we reviewed. Again, this is a bourbon, but it's much better than the Four Roses small batch that we reviewed that a lot of people do like a lot. It's better than the first time that Ben rated Eagle Rare. And so there's a lot of things that people like that it's better than. So Ben hit the nail on the head. This would make an absolutely killer old fashioned. I think that the Old Forester 100, I bought a 1.75 of that, and that was my house old fashioned maker until I killed that bottle. And now I'm just trying to get rid of other smaller stuff. But again, this would make an excellent old fashioned. I think not only did this make the big board, this might be going up to the top. Out of 10, no, it's not going to be Smoke Wagon small batch, but it is going to have you erasing 4 things on there. Out of 10, Brendan gave this an 8. I gave this an 8. And Ben gave this a 7.75.
Yeah.
Bringing our composite to 7.92.
This is so solid.
If Brendan or Ben just wouldn't have been cheap on like a quarter of a point, this would have been the new leader in the clubhouse. But it finishes second all time. Highest rye we've ever done, right?
Yeah.
So this is all rye, as some people typically like to say.
This is a great bottle.
Like, I can see this bottle getting more and more harder to find and it going up in price. I would buy, if you can buy a 175 at 35 or $40, that would be great. That's a great deal. I can see this bottle going up to like 27 at $30 at some point. Like, that's how good this bottle is.
And, I think you wouldn't feel bad about $30 for this. I think
I feel like I would pay, I hate saying 30, but maybe 27, 28. If this is 29, if this is 27.99, I feel like I would still buy it and I'd still be pretty happy with it. This is a great old fashioned maker.
Yeah, I'd love to find a 1.75. I don't know confirm that there is a 175 of this. I know that they have a Old Forester 100 bourbon in a 175, but I'd love this in a 175. Because like I said, it'd be fantastic to kind of like change up your old fashioned a little bit, give it a little more spice, to go with all the sweetness that you put into an old fashioned. So I think we'd all definitely recommend this. I think we'd all say that this is something that's really, really good. Any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
Happy to be back smelling, tasting things at a somewhat competent level.
I wish we could say the same. Ben?
Nope, that's it.
That's it for this episode. Go back and check out episode 1 from this week, which is on Tuesday, where we started a new King of the Hill series.
Yes.
Follow us on all the social medias if you don't mind. That's Bourbon on a Budget everywhere you can find it. And then if you're into learning how Brendan got over COVID, also check out Tuesday's episode. Really, really great stuff there. Glad to have you back. As hard of a time as we give you, you're in my top 3 favorite people on this podcast, without a doubt. So glad that you're back.
CJ.
I wasn't talking to you. You're my top 4. You're my top 4.
Okay.
So until next time, thanks for hanging out. Cheers.
Cheers.